Industry-sweeping changes are in the works as the FTC looks towards a public workshop in regards to loot boxes and what steps to take going forward. A GameStop document leak reveals over 50 regional manager layoffs, and Sony warns of a PlayStation price increase? The future is uncertain in this week's edition of The Rundown. Earlier this week, in an earnings call from Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki, warned that prices of PlayStation consoles will increase in the US if the Trump tariffs on electronics made in China go through. This would include consoles such as the PlayStation, in which most of its components are made in China. Totoki also claimed that higher tariffs would damage the US economy. It's unclear how much prices would increase at this time, but should the tariffs pass, we will clearly see the effect on the upcoming PlayStation 5. This will put Sony in a tough position in terms of one of their highest profitable regions in the world, the US. And while the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro proved that consumers are willing to spend a little bit more on consoles, there is still a limit to how expensive they can be before the market is completely turned off by the idea. And if the tech they claim to have for the PlayStation 5 is true, its price might already be higher than usual even without the tariffs. Also this week, the FTC announced a date and agenda for its upcoming workshop regarding loot boxes in video games. The workshop has an August 7th date and will be held in Washington, D.C. under the title Inside the Game, Unlocking the Consumer Issues Surrounding Loot Boxes. The workshop outlines 3 panels talking about monetization, psychological effects, and how to address concerns about loot boxes. Each panel will have moderators from the FTC in attendance. On one hand, I'm pleased by the fact that the FTC is finally taking an active approach on how to handle loot boxes and microtransactions in video games. On the other hand, I'm not too pleased by how hands-off their approach is, by simply letting the representatives of the industry come together and discuss what can be done. Some of these representatives have already proven that they believe there is nothing wrong with loot boxes and how they are marketed towards consumers, which is a very clear bias. Only time will tell if anything actually comes of this for the US. Late this week, a GameStop memo was leaked detailing a new initiative for the retailer called the GameStop Reboot Initiative, which many believe to be GameStop trying to revitalize its business. The result of this new initiative is the layoffs of over 50 managers all around the US. The memo stated that these decisions are not easy but are necessary to help us reduce costs to enable revenue-driving initiatives that will help grow the business once again. I will admit that there is a part of me singing victory praises about this in some aspects, although people losing their jobs is never something to celebrate, especially in today's climate. And my heart goes out to those affected. There was a point in my life where working at GameStop was my dream job, but after years of seeing and hearing stories from current and former employees, I'm glad I never got the job there. And after watching the story of one YouTuber that worked at GameStop for 11 years, seeing this news only seems apt considering the awful business and management practices that went on all these years. This is a clear sign of desperation in a market where most people are either buying games digitally or from other storefronts. And that's going to bring us to the end of yet another episode of The Rundown. There was some news about a Yakuza announcement this month as well, but we can talk about that when it happens, as y'all don't care about Yakuza like I do. But as always, if you enjoyed this edition, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The summer news drop makes these a bit difficult to put together, but when I can, you'll know. Also be sure to check out the Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and Patreon pages as well. You can find all of those in the description below. This is Corrupt One and telling you to stay sharp, assassins, and I'll see you next time.